Hey everyone, this is the video for lesson 24, session 3, and it begins on page 513. So this is the last session of this lesson, multiplying fractions by whole numbers. So you should have already gone through and done these problems. There are 8 of them. So this is like the independent practice day where you guys would be trying these problems on your own, or maybe with a small group with your teacher at a little side table. So hopefully by now you feel pretty confident with this skill and you can do most of these problems on your own, and you're just using this video to check your answers. If you haven't done that yet, stop this video and try it. All right, let's go correcting. The example problem does not have a solution, so hopefully you solved it. It says 5 friends share a pizza. Each friend eats 2/12 of the pizza. How much pizza do they eat all together? So 5 friends times 2/12 each equals 10/12 of the pizza. So I guess technically it's solved. You just have to write a solution line. So the 5 friends eat 10/12 of the pizza. Give yourself a star if you wrote that on that line. In a complete sentence, of course. Number 1. Each of 4 tables at a party is set with a bowl of grapes. Each bowl contains 5/8 of a pound of grapes. How many pounds of grapes are there altogether? Show your work. So 4 tables. Each table has 5/8 pounds of grapes. Okay. So my denominator is going to stay the same, eighths, and then I do my whole number times my numerator. 4 times 5 equals 20. So you can leave it as 20/8, or you can convert that to a mixed number because there's whole numbers hiding in there. Okay, so 20 divided by 8. How many times does 8 go into 20? That's just 2 times. It stays eighths. So 2 times 8 is 16. 20 minus 16 is 4. So 20/8 is the same thing. It equals 2 4/8 pounds. So there are 2 4/8 pounds of grapes. Okay, so final answer. Star for showing your work, star for your answer in a sentence. All right, so that's that page. Flip it over, 514. Okay, number 2, Leo paints for 2/3 of an hour on each day on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. How long does Leo paint this week? Show your work. So how many days was that? Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. So 4 days. Each day he paints for 2/3 of an hour. So total time painted will be our answer. The denominator is going to stay thirds. Whole number times numerator, 4 times 2 equals 8. But there's a whole number hiding in there. Okay, so it's 8/3. But how many times does 3 go into 8? Or 8 divided by 3? That would be 2 times. Denominator stays the same, thirds. So 2 times 3 is 6, so 8 minus 6, remainder is 2. Okay, so it's 8/3, but 8/3 equals 2 2/3. So in a sentence, I'm going to say Leo paints for 2 2/3 hours this week. I'm out of space. Okay. Star for your work, star for your answer in a sentence. And technically either answer is correct, so if you didn't convert your improper fraction into a mixed number, 8/3 is still technically correct, but 8/3 of an hour is confusing. 2 and 2/3 hours makes more sense. 2 hours and then 2/3 of another hour. I know what that means. 8/3 of an hour, and that's a little confusing. Okay, number 3. Kareem walks 3/4 of a mile each day for 5 days. The number of miles Kareem walks altogether is between which two whole numbers? Okay, and it doesn't say to show your work, but there's no way to solve this without showing your work. So 5 days, each day he walks 3/4 of a mile. So there's my equation. My denominator will stay fourths. And then whole number times numerator, 5 times 3 is 15. Okay, so that's an improper fraction. There's whole numbers hiding in there. 15 divided by 4. 4, 8, 12, 16. 16's too many, so 3 wholes are hiding in there. Denominator stays the same. 4 times 3 is 12, so 15 minus 12 is 3. 15/4 is the same as saying 3 and 3/4. So which two whole numbers is that between? Is 3 and 3/4 between 0 and 1? Nope. Between 1 and 2? No. Between 3 and 4? Yep. On a number line. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 and 3/4 would be right here. It's between 3 and 4. Okay? 3 and 4. Lacey chose A as the correct answer. How did she get that answer? So I'm thinking that instead of like doing the equation and finding 3 and 3/4, she just said that 3/4, 0, 1, 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4. So I think she just found where 3/4 is between 0 and 1. I think that's why she chose A. She didn't actually do like times 5 days. She just found where's this between. Okay, so if you explain that, give yourself a star. If you said C, give yourself another star. Okay, number 4. On page 515. Okay. A choir concert lasts for 5/6 of an hour. The choir performs 3 concerts on the weekend. Find the number of hours the choir performs on the weekend. The answer is between which two whole numbers? Okay, so they do 3 concerts on the weekend. Each concert is 5/6 of an hour. Denominator stays the same. It's going to be 6ths. And whole number times numerator, 3 times 5 equals 15. So I still have to convert that to a mixed number. Because I can't tell just looking at that if it's between 0 and 1, 1 and 2, between 2 and 3, or 3 and 4. So 15 divided by 6, 6 can go in 15 2 times. 6, 12, 18's too many. So 2 wholes. Denominator stays 6. 2 times 6 is 12. 15 minus 12 is 3. So on my number line, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 and 3/6. 3/6 is half, so 2 and 3/6 would be right there, between 2 and 3. It's right in the middle between 2 and 3. So my answer is C. So give yourself a star if you said C. Give yourself a star if you showed some work in this big blank space, because otherwise, how'd you find your answer? Number 5, find the products to complete the table. Well, that's interesting. I don't think we've ever had a problem that looks like this before. Okay, so all we have to do is find the answers. Product is the answer of a multiplication equation, which is what this is. So for the first one, maybe I can zoom in a bit. This table's pretty small. That's better. Okay, so denominator stays the same. It's going to be 6. And then whole number 3 times 4, my numerator is 12. Okay, 12/6. 12 divided by 6 is 2. That just equals 2 wholes. So you can do that for the first one and give yourself a star. For the second one, denominator stays fifths. Whole number times numerator, 2 times 4 equals 8. So 8 divided by 5. 5 can go into 8 just once before it gets too big, because 5, 10, too many. So just once. Denominator stays fifths for my remainder. 5 times 1 is 5. 8 minus 5 is 3. Oops, that's a weird 3. 1 and 3/5, because 3 was my remainder. Okay, next. Denominator stays thirds. Whole number times numerator. 5 times 2 is 10. 10 divided by 3. 3, 6, 9, 12. 12's too many, so it's 3. Stays thirds. 3 times 3 is 9. 10 minus 9 is 1, so my remainder is 1. That's my numerator. 3 and 1/3. And last one is gonna stay 6. And 2 times 3 equals 6. 6/6 equals 1 whole. Oops, I forgot stars. 4 stars for that one. Cool, I like those ones. That was nice. Super enjoyable, right? Okay, let me zoom back out. Get this all centered again. Okay, number 6. Morgan buys 6 tomatoes that each weigh 1/4 of a pound. Russ buys 14 tomatoes that each weigh 1/8 of a pound. Who buys tomatoes that weigh more? So the total of their tomatoes. So we have to do 2 separate equations. First is Morgan. Then we'll do Russ. Okay, so Morgan has 6 tomatoes. Each one is 1/4 of a pound. Okay, so my denominator stays fourths. 6 times 1 equals 6. Whole number hiding in there. 6 divided by 4 is 1. 4 can go into 6 just once before it's too many. Denominator will stay fourths. And then 6 divided by 4 is 1, remainder 2. So Morgan's tomatoes weigh 1 2/4 pounds. Okay, Russ, he had 14 tomatoes, and each one was 1/8 of a pound. Okay. All right, so my denominator will stay eighths. 14 times 1 is 14. Okay, so 14 divided by 8 is 1, because I can't do 2. 8 times 2 is 16, that's too many. Okay, eighths. Remainder. So 8 times 1 is 8. 14 minus 8 is 6. Okay, so Russ's tomatoes are 1 6/8 pounds. So it's hard to compare these two amounts because this one's in fourths and this one's in eighths, right? So I'm going to use a little number line. This is going to be 1 whole. This is going to be 2 wholes. And then I'm going to use another color because I'm going to put fourths and eighths on my number line, okay? And I don't have a whole lot of space, but that's okay. Okay, so that would be fourths, right? So that'll be 1. This is 1 whole, so this is going to be 1 1/4. 1 2/4. 1 3/4. And then 1 4/4 is the same as 2. Then I need dashes in the middle of all of those, and here too, to show eighths, because this is 1 1/8, 1 2/8, because 1/4 is equivalent to 2/8. Think back to equivalent fractions. 1 4/8, because 4/8 is equivalent to 2/4. 1 5/8. 1 6/8, 1 and 7/8, 1 and 8/8 is 2 wholes. So Morgan's was 1 and 2/4. So I'm going to put an M here for Morgan. Russ's tomatoes weighed 1 and 6/8, which is here. So this is R for Russ. So who's weighed more? Here's 1 pound, here's 2 pounds. Russ's is closer to 2 pounds, so his weighs more. So Russ buys tomatoes that weigh more. Let's do 2 stars for your work because that was a lot of work, and 1 star if you said Russ. Okay. All right, last page. Okay, number 7. Hard to tell if that's crooked, sorry. Tell whether each expression has a value of 15/4. So which ones equal 15/4? So if I solve this one, my denominator will stay fourths. Whole number times numerator, 5 times 3 is 15. So yeah, that one equals 15/4. Okay, next, denominator stays fourths. Whole number times numerator, 1 times 5 equals 5. 5/4 is not the same as 15/4. No. Lastly, fourths. Whole number times numerator, 15 times 1 is 15. 15/4. 15/4. Yes. Yes, no, yes. That was fast. All right, and last one. Use words, equations, or pictures to explain how to find the answer to the problem below. Brittany practices hitting softballs for 2/3 of an hour each day for 3 days. How many hours does she practice hitting softballs? So it says words, equations, or pictures. So you can draw a model, you can just do an equation, or you could have used words. It doesn't say and, so you don't have to do all of them. Usually for these math journal ones, you have to do some explaining, but if you just solved it, that's fine too. So 3 days, each day is 2/3 of an hour. Denominator stays the same. Whole number times numerator, 3 times 2 equals 6. 6 divided by 3 is 2. So she spends 2 hours practicing total, I guess. Total each week, whatever. However you want to say that. All right, I'm just gonna make this one 1 star because you didn't have to do an explanation. You just had to do one of those things. So 1 star as long as you said 2 hours was your final answer. Let's count up total stars, shall we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 because of the example. Okay, so let's put that right here. It's a fraction. How many did you get correct out of 20 possible stars? Put that there so I can see it once you turn in your workbook pages next Monday. And I hope you guys did well. Hope you enjoyed this lesson. See you for lesson 25. We're almost done.